Jacob is an amazing young man. Everybody knows that. He's a virtuoso violinist. He won the 2019 Spokane Youth Symphony Concerto competition and has won numerous state-level music competitions. Just last year, he decided to teach himself the clarinet. This knowledge served him well when he fashioned a clarinet out of a carrot and played Christmas carols on it. It's been a marvel to watch Jacob over the last several years. The quiet, unassuming middle schooler evolved into neurotic Felix Unger in The Odd Couple and the gibberish-spewing Charlie in The Foreigner. Please welcome our salutatorian, Mr. Jacob Unruh. You're good to go.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Nikolai. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and congratulations to the class of 2020. I'd like to tell you a little story. On the first day of school this year, I couldn't find my shoes anywhere. I looked everywhere, but they were nowhere to be found. Now, many of you would agree that it's important to wear shoes to school. Luckily, I remembered that I had sandals, and I thought, what better way to show off my new rainbow socks? Unfortunately, it is illegal to wear sandals without a heel strap at charter. I wore them anyway. The first week went by, and did anyone notice? Yes, my teachers found it difficult not to notice them, actually. But they simply complimented my socks with a bit of a confused but amused tone. 2 weeks went by, and by that time, I had worn all the sock patterns that I had owned at the time. Still, I was roaming the halls in socks and sandals. I wondered, how many weeks could I get away with this? 8. 8 weeks until someone told me, Jacob, you can't walk around school in socks and sandals anymore. I felt deeply, deeply disappointed. But, as Dr. Seuss once said, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. I will forever look fondly upon those days. You may be wondering why I'm reminiscing about my history as a socks and sandals criminal. Well, 4 years ago, I wouldn't have even thought about wearing such atrocities. That's because, for the first few years of high school, I was very reserved. My family and closest friends knew me as weird and goofy, but no one else really saw that side of me. I was awkward, and I found it difficult to find the right words to say in a conversation. It was like my true self was trapped behind the lens of my eyes, scrambling around in the control center of my brain and frantically trying to find the right buttons to push. I felt lonely. I had the belief that if only I tried harder, if only I could learn how to work the machine in my head, I would be able to express my true personality. But I was mistaken. I now believe that embracing my awkwardness fosters a deep connection with my friends and brings people closer together. Part of that awkwardness is my questionable sense of fashion. It's my rainbow socks, my hot dog socks, my corn socks, and my Christmas giraffe socks that say, neck the halls. The path to this point has been quite challenging. I'd like to tell you about one experience along this path. As a quiet, focused student participating in a play for the first time, it felt awkward playing Felix, the high-strung, self-described neurotic nut in The Odd Couple. Here's why it was awkward. I played his character with confidence and passion, but I felt my own personality lacking the energy and boldness of my acting. A few months later, I gave a short speech for students involved in theater. Normally, I would have planned something to say, but I decided against it because I wanted to speak authentically about my experience. At the podium, I grinned mischievously and began the same way I began this speech. I would like to tell you a little story. I proceeded to tell the audience about the time I forgot Felix's shoes and didn't realize it until minutes before my entrance. Now that I think about it, I may have a bad habit of losing shoes. Anyway, the audience liked my speech and laughed at my sly, lighthearted delivery. This speech encouraged me to further explore my own style of humor. My character, Charlie Baker, from my most recent play, The Foreigner, was even more eccentric than Felix. He screeched at the top of his lungs, spoke in a made-up language, and impersonated an old lady. This performance was far more outlandish than The Odd Couple, yet by then I had become confident in my subdued personality, working with the cast, laughing, building, creating, while exploring my new sense of humor was just as rewarding and absurd as my performance. I realized that embracing my reserved, quiet, and slightly awkward personality simply magnified my humor and brought me closer to people. Mastering social nuances is not what revealed my true personality. Instead, following my natural tendencies unveiled aspects of my personality that no one had ever seen before. Finally, I was able to connect with others in a genuine and meaningful way. A central part of the charter philosophy is accepting the challenge. I believed I was accepting the challenge when I did homework during lunch instead of talking with my friends. I believed I was accepting the challenge when I slept 3 hours every night so I would have enough time to do my best work. I believed I was accepting the challenge when school overtook relationships with my family and my friends. Is this the charter challenge? Sacrificing my health and my friendships for the sake of learning, is this the charter challenge? I struggled with this question for a long time. Here's what I have since realized. Embedded in worthy challenges is a sense of purpose, which I did not feel for the first few years of high school. Humans are social beings, and close relationships with other people sustain this intrinsic motivation. Without a foundation of solid relationships, academic achievements feel meaningless. For many years, I challenged myself academically simply because I enjoyed learning. Getting good grades validated my academic ambitions. Working hard always seemed to pay off. The sense of purpose it gave me, however, was superficial. Sure, it prepared me for college, it enriched my mind, it made me more resilient. But why would resilience matter if all I do is study? How does an enriched mind build up others if it only improves itself? After a while, I became burned out. The beautiful world of knowledge became a scene in a snow globe, fascinating for a few moments every year, but dusty and forgotten most of the time. Learning for the sake of learning, it wasn't working out. Part of accepting the challenge means finding a reason, a good reason, to overcome the challenge. I didn't find that reason until last year, when I made a concerted effort to balance my academic and social life. For me, this was the true challenge. Academics came naturally to me, being social, not so much. I took on this unique challenge because it filled me with a sense of purpose. Spending time with friends became a meaningful part of my life, and I began to learn more about myself. In the process, I discovered that I can bring people together through my humor, empathy, respect for my peers, and even my passion for music. By accepting the challenge at Charter, I know how to seek out the truly meaningful challenges in life. To my teachers, thank you for your support, your hard work, and your dedication. To my parents, you have been my biggest inspiration and cheerleader throughout my life. You have always been proud of my achievements, and you also encouraged me to live a balanced life. And to my classmates, I have had hilarious, thoughtful, strange conversations and memorable experiences with so many of you, and for that I am grateful. If I had one piece of advice for everyone, it would be this, 3 parts. Number 1, wear sandals and cheesy socks. Number 2, play Christmas carols on a carrot every once in a while. And lastly, accept the challenges that fill you with a sense of purpose. Thank you.